In this video, we're going to review multiplying and dividing fractions. And what I want you to do is pause the video as you feel necessary, try to work the fractions I've given to you, and then go ahead and check your steps after unpausing the video. Okay? And feel free to do that as much as you want so that you can follow along. So let's take a look at the first example. So consider the fraction 3 divided by 10 multiplied with 5 over 8. Okay. And what's interesting out here is that little dot out there, the period, whatever you want to call it, that is actually the same as a multiplication. Okay. So you can keep that as is, or you can rewrite these terms as 3 over 10 times 5 over 8. So you can clearly see the multiplication sign. Now, the instructions for this question is simplify. Okay, so you're trying to simplify this fraction. So whenever you simplify any terms, especially when you're talking about fractions, you really need to follow two steps. Okay, so step one is basically reduce. And what I mean when I say reduce is you look for common factors. Look for common factors, and these common factors could be between any numerator and denominator. So it could be this way, it could be this way, or it could be this way. So basically any numbers on top and any numbers below. Okay, so that's step one. And then step two, after you reduce, multiply across. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply these two steps. So let's apply step one. I'm looking for common factors. Well, 3 has nothing common with 10 and nothing common with 8. But 5, it has 5 common to 10 in itself. So if I divide 5 by 5, I get 1. If I divide 10 by 5, I get 2. And now I really cannot reduce any more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply across, which is your step 2. So that gives you 3 times 1 divided by 2 times 8. Let's go ahead and multiply them out. So that's 3 divided by 16, and that is your final answer. Let's take a look at another problem. So that's problem 1. Let me just go ahead and use proper numbers out here. That's problem 1. Let's look at problem 2. Problem 2 is going to look a little different. So let's say you have a fraction 5 divided by 16 times a number 48. As you can see out here, you have a fraction multiplied with a number which does not look like a fraction. So what you want to do is you want to change the 48 into a fraction. And to do that, you just place the 48 over 1. Any number can be made into a fraction by placing it over 1. Now you can apply the same rules you applied up here. You can look for common factors. Now, if you already know your tables pretty well, then you should be able to know that 16 and 48 have some common factors. But if you don't know, if you're not very confident about tables with higher numbers, then what you could do is you could just start with lower numbers. So let's start with 16 divided by 4. So if I divide 16 by 4, I get 4. If I divide 48 by 4, I get 12. And then I can, if I look at 12 and 4, I can divide that further. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. That leaves me with 5 times 3 on top and 1 times 1 below. If I simplify that further, I get 15 over 1, and I can rewrite that as 15 because I don't need to write the 1 as a denominator. So that's how you do the second type of problem. As you can see, we're always applying step 1 reduce and step 2 multiply across. Okay, let's take a look at the third type of problem. In the third type of problem, 3 over 4 divided by 3 over 8. Okay, now when you have a division sign out here, what you should do is you should change the division to a multiplication. And the rule out here is when you change the division to a multiplication sign, then this fraction gets flipped on its head. So let's go ahead and apply that. So 3 over 4 times 8 over 3. You see, I changed the division to a multiplication, and then I took this fraction and I inverted it, meaning I flipped it on its head, giving me 8 over 3. Now I'm going to reduce. So 3 and 3 could reduce, give me 1 and 1. And then 4 reduces with 8, leaving behind 2 up there and 1 below. Now I'm going to multiply across. So that's 1 times 2 over 1 times 1, which gives me 2 over 1 equal to 2. Okay. Again, as I mentioned before, feel free to pause the video, work the problems, and then check your solution. Okay. And you can do this as many times as you want. Let's take a look at one more type of problem. So let's say you have 12 over 13, and the whole thing is over 3. Notice carefully, when I said the whole thing is over 3, this line is actually pretty big. And when you see a very big line in a fraction that looks pretty complicated, that line is interpreted as a division sign, okay? So what you could do is you could do 12 over 13 and then replace the line with the division sign and then write the 3 after. So now you're looking at something that looks very much like this fraction, except for the 3 is a whole number. So we'll change the 3 into a fraction first. So 12 over 13 divided by 3 over 1. Now I'm going to change the division to a multiplication and flip the 3 over 1 on its head. Times 1 over 3. And now I'm going to reduce. 3 goes into 12 4 times, and 3 goes into 3 1 time. And then I'm going to multiply across. So 4 over 1 times 13 over 13 times 1, which is equal to 4 over 13. And that's pretty much it for this video, where we reviewed multiplying and dividing fractions. Thank you for watching.